What up, Poke friends? I'm here to bring you another deck review. This deck is super fun. This is Trevenant, Necrozma, and the current, Crimson and Shining Legends set kind of thing. There's not really anything too new from it. It's just the Necrozma, and that's in Burning Shadow. So let's just get right into it. You've probably seen Trevenant decks before, but you think it would spread a lot of damage before, or it spread even more. But here, let's get this knocked out of the way. Little old set. Alright, so to kick things off, get yourself a Trevenant Break right over here. This card is what you want to focus on. It's Silent Fear matched up with a Dimension Valley, which is really kind of the engine behind this deck. That's why you run 4 D Valleys. D Valley basically allows your Psychic Pokemon to have one colorless energy less to attack. So that basically puts this Trevenant Break to be able to attack Silent Fear, spread 3 damage counters for basically 1 psychic energy. And the reason why it's so important to focus on 3 damage counters is just that, there's things that block damage, such as like Tapu Koko. If he flying flips, he's dealing damage. And there's, Mr. Mime, or I believe Machoke, there's Bronzong, people who block damage, So damage counters is a whole different ball game, Plus, like, I never encountered this, but like I'm pretty sure like with Focus Sash, if you deal damage and it's about to get knocked out, it doesn't get knocked out. But if it puts on damage counters, I think it overrides that whole thing. So that's kind of a big deal. Trevenant, he's also a force to be reckoned with. Force Curse basically puts your opponent on item lock, and that's kind of the whole main like defense in this whole deck, is that you turn 1 Wally. So basically turn 1 you want to start off with a Phantom. Either if you go turn 1 or turn 2, you need to get out that Trevenant immediately. So this Phantom is extremely good. It's from Breakpoint. Ascension basically allows you to find Trevenant and evolve it. And the cool thing is that once you evolve it, it's there for that whole turn. So the next turn you come by, you'll be able to evolve to Trevenant Break if you just have it in your hand. Boom. You know what I'm saying? So turn 1, Wally is what you want to look for. And if you haven't known before, Wally basically allows you to evolve. So you could do something crazy like, I don't know, if it's your turn 2 for some reason, you have a Phantom on the bench. Those would be like Trev, okay, that you evolve, and then you could hit it with a Wally. I've never done it like this, but you could hit it with a Wally and then go straight up to Break, So that's pretty important. A lot of people say, I kind of play it a little differently, but if you want to play it safe, you're going to want this Trevenant or Trevenant Break, whatever, always up in the front, because you want them item locked at all times. I'm more of a riskier player, so I'll like back out and do some other nonsense and have them un-item locked so they can use items or whatever. But it's for a cost. It's typically if I'm going to get out of Trevenant, I'm gonna use Tapu Koko to spread more damage and whatnot. Because basically there's 1 or 2 ways you could go about this deck, right? The main way I go about it is I want to kill everyone all at once, right? However, there's this Espeon that's used a lot in Standard nowadays to devolve, However, in Expanded, you really don't see that many evolutions. You see a lot of basic Darkrai, super popular. Well, obviously Trevenant, if you're going up against the Mirror. Greninja is an evolution. I just can't think of any at the moment. Well, Primal Groudon, I guess. Mega Mewtwo. I guess those are evolutions, you know. So that spreads damage and whatnot. So Espeon EX devolves, so that's kind of a big deal. And the cool thing is that it just costs one colorless energy. So you could attack for free with Dimension Valley. So that's pretty cool. Also, just as like a, hey, I'm stuck and I need to attack, Tapu Lele could attack with just one psychic energy as long as D Valley's up. And as long as they have a lot of energies up, you're going to hit hard. A lot of times against fire decks, which is still popular and expanded, they'll kawaii and they'll stack up 5 energies and then it's your turn. It's like, okay, cool, thanks. You know, if you need to attach it, psychic energy. If you have the DC, cool, you'll hit harder. Slap on a choice band too, you'll hit for like a lot of damage. However, that's super like, hey, I'm stuck in a bad position kind of thing, because you're always gonna want Trevenant up in the front or just be spreading damage. I put 2 Tapu Leles because turn 1 you're gonna want an Ultra Ball to find the Lele, to get the Wally, to evolve Phantom to Trevenant. You're going to want that turn 1 always, or as fast as possible. I put 1 Shaman just for speed. I think 1's good enough. Honestly, half the time, I don't even focus on Shaman. When I have them, I have them. If I have the opportunity, yeah, I'll Shaman for extra cards. But, I mean, this deck isn't so much about speed. You're always going to want to speed through your deck, yeah. But it's more about just spreading damage, you know. And honestly, there's not a lot that, like, once you're set up, there's not a lot you're gonna have to dig for. As long as you have a Trev break in the front with 1 energy and the D value, you just keep spreading. You're gonna want to build another one when he dies. You just keep on going, you know what I'm saying? But this is support for draw power. And here's the ender, Necrozma GX. This is the guy who ends the game. He will sway the game if you use Black Ray GX. Recommended, use it for the end game to win. Basically, it does 100 to each EX and GX of your opponent on the board. So, like, basically, you want to spread a bunch. Most EXs and GXs, well, at least EXs have, like, typically 180 damage, right? So you're going to want to spread up until it gets around the point where if you pop 100, either A, you will kill everyone, or B, you will knock out enough people to grab 6 prizes. Most of the time when you Black Ray GX, it's over 6 prizes. I don't know why. I've done a video, I forgot against what deck, but I collected 8 prizes for the win. Today in an LC, I collected 10 prizes, which is ridiculous. I think it was against Speed Darkrai, actually. So surprisingly enough, I did Black Ray GX kind of mid-game, and I was like weird about it, but it's always good. Almost, other than the beginning, like, it's typically, it's good all around. I mean, if you use it early, I don't recommend it, but if you're strategic about it, it'll work in your favor. So he's a big deal. Definitely a big deal. I would just put 1 because 2 is just excessive. 2 Wallies just to make damn sure that you get that Trev. So that's the thing. I know it sounds crazy, but I only put 2 Sycamores. Reason being is that you don't really want to be discarding a lot of things. It's not that kind of deck where you're just throwing stuff in the discard pile. However, I am running a Stretcher and Super Rod. The Stretcher's super beneficial because if they knocked out a Trev break or whatever, and you have, like, just say a Trev up or whatever, you use that Stretcher, you get that break on, you attach energy, you get that D-Valley, and you keep spreading. So that's cool. Super Rod, just to get back energies. I'm only running 7 Psychic, you know, just for space, and really, I mean, it's only 1 Psychic energy attachment. That's what you should be really focusing on. So I got a Lily, so I don't, like, be discarding a lot of things. Lily's mostly good turn 1, but you're going to want to focus on that Wally turn 1, like 99% of the time. I think Lily's just a little draw support, so I don't discard a lot of things, but she's been pretty useful. She's been cool, so That's that. Three ends. Keep in mind, I'm running VS Seekers because this is expanded, so you're not gonna have to run four of everything. So that's why I'm not freaking out about the Sycamores. Three Guzmas. Typically, I'm super comfortable with four, but like I said, there's VS Seekers, so three Guzmas all right. Four D Valleys, four D Valleys, four D Valleys. I remember at one point I played 3D Valleys. I don't know why. Big mistake. 4D Valleys. You're going to always want that D Valley up. Most of the time, other people will be playing D Valleys and you could just use their own, aka 9 March, right? And 9 March is usually a good matchup for you. So the DCEs. The DCEs, I think it's more of a newer thing because I think in old lists, old Trev lists, they would run mystery energies. Even to the current day, they'd run mystery energies. Personally, I don't like mystery energies. If you didn't know, mystery energies allows you to attach to a psychic Pokemon, and it's kind of like Altar of the Moon or whatever. It takes off two retreat costs off you. So, like for example, let's say you put it on Trevenant, whatever, right? Just a bad example. Put the mystery energy on Trevenant, you would only need to discard one because it's three, two are free, whatever, right? I wasn't with it because I still want to use Coco. Not really Shaman, but Coco is in here, so I still want to use them. So I have 7 basics and the DCs. Like I said, the DCs are important for Necrozma, Lele, Coco, and Shaman. Honestly, even Trevenant. And this is probably what sets me apart from other Trev decks is the DCE. Honestly, people don't really pay attention to Tree Slam, but it's pretty powerful considering things are weak to Psychic, and you're not weak to Psychic, you're weak to Darkness. You could attach a Choice Band or a Muscle Band. Honestly, like a Tree Slam, Choice Band, boost it up to 90 if it's an EX or GX, and deal damage to 2 other people. Like, it's crazy. And if it's weak to Psychic, 90 times 2, 180, that's knockout range, you know? So Tree Slam does actually speed up the process of getting ready to Black Ray GX. It's pretty good. I use it when I need to. When there's like GXs with a lot of HP, I'll start Tree Slamming. Pairing up with that, let's see right here. I use Muscle Band and Choice Band. I was gonna go with all Muscle Band at one point, all 4, and I was gonna go with all Choice Band at one point. But then I realized it's a perfect balance to have 2 of each because you're going to come up with, decks that aren't GX or EX and expanded. You're going to have Greninjas that are not GXs. They're one prizers. Obviously, Trevenant, it's a one prizer. Night March, one prizer. However, they do run like Marshadows, Shamans, and whatnot. I mean, there's a bunch of other decks that are just, non-GX, non-whatever. So that's where the Muscle Band comes in. It's just 20 to anyone. It just doesn't discriminate. It's just like, hey, I'm going to hit you. All right, cool. So my A spec. Personally, I recommend Computer Search, but for some reason I lost it. So I got a hold of this A spec, and I heard it was like the second best, which is pretty cool. But basically, if you don't know, it allows you to pull a trainer card from your discard pile, discard 2 cards from your hand, almost like an Ultra Ball. This comes in handy when you're going to need a Dimension Valley, which has the name Trainer on it. Anything really, like Super Rod, Stretcher. Stretcher would be actually cool. You could combo it and get your break, whatever, all that jazz. Like, there's just so many things you could combo Dowsing Machine with. You'll find yourself in that situation. You'll be like, all right, cool. I got to make a sick combo, and it's done. So Field Blowers. I know this is expanded, but I tested Starling Megaphone. If you guys don't know, Starling Megaphone is super cool because it basically takes all tools off of your opponent's field. However, there's been a lot of instances where I just needed to take care of a stadium and needed to take it off, and I couldn't because I didn't run enough Field Blowers. So 2 Field Blowers is fine. One's way too, run 2. So, obviously 4 Ultra Balls. I made space, so I ran 3 VS Seekers. 4, you could run 4, but honestly, you just really need 3. But yeah, that's basically the deck. If you think there should be any changes, let me know. I know this is kind of a roguey build, considering there's DCEs and muscle band and choice bands. But I went more for the aggro side of things, and I know there's only 2 sycamores, but I don't know. It's just been working out for me. Build a deck, have fun with it. Expanded's just fun for me, or for a lot of people. So yeah. If you have any tips, put it in the comment. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. All that jazz. Here's 2 other code cards. Hope you pull good things. Thanks for watching.